All right, we're back here in the studio with Hal Werner. Hal, how you doing?
I feel terrible, Ken.
Hal's a little under the weather this week. So, we're going to talk about the social media tools, specifically TweetDeck and Hootsuite. So, Hal, you've been using these tools for a while. I know you've been using the Hootsuite. I know we were talking about that earlier. And how do you use it, Hal?
Well, the main thing I use these tools for is to schedule posts. You know, I run across a lot of stuff that I think is interesting to tweet or post to different social networks, but it tends to be a situation where you have a couple hours and you find, you know, maybe a dozen articles all at once. Well, it's kind of useless to tweet those out all in like an hour or two. So you try to space them out a little more so you can have a more consistent presence online.
And I know you do a lot of things on your own because you're sort of a copywriter, but like I noticed that a lot of creative people, copywriters and some creative directors and whatnot, kind of do some posts on their own. They're pretty good content curators as well. Mm-hmm. So do you do everything like in one day a week? You just set up all your scheduled tweets that go out, or
I'm not
how do you do
that
that?
disciplined about it. It'll go through fits and spurts. You know, if I have a time when I am reading a lot of different articles, I'll go ahead and schedule, you know, maybe a week worth of stuff. But that's not to say that if I don't run across something new that I won't post that. You know, if I have a crazy thought that comes through my mind that I feel like I need to share, or if I run across something very newsworthy that's very timely, I'm not going to sit there and schedule that, you know, another 2 weeks out just because I already have posts scheduled. Right.
And I know a lot of people sort of have questions about separating their sort of like their business and their personal, because I think that's kind of the problem with these social media tools is you have everybody that has all their personal accounts and their personal followers, and like you and I both use our real names for our Twitter handle. Right. So if we were to ever start a separate business, you know, a lot of that has to kind of be tied in, especially with these new Google authorship tools that are coming out with Google Plus, where your content gets tied to your author profile. So it can be kind of hard to kind of separate, you know, your own thoughts and your sort of you know, personal links and things like that with, you know, some type of business endeavors. But the Hootsuite really makes that pretty easy, I think, at least from the management side of it, because you could set up, you know, tweets that go out to like your personal accounts, and then like for me, I have a personal Facebook page, and then I have, or personal Facebook profile is the term they call it. It's a profile, and then I have my sort of business Ken Mariko page. So TweetDeck allows me to kind of separate out, you know, the business side, you know, the tweets and things that I want out. And it's great because LinkedIn, it also connects with LinkedIn, so you can, you know, if you have a business page and a LinkedIn account, the sort of the more professional side, and then I have, you know, my personal stuff go out to my Twitter feed and my Facebook profile. So do you use any of that for any of those Hootsuite tools? For LinkedIn, definitely. And like you separate out your audiences and things like that?
Definitely. I do a similar thing just to keep it simple. You know, I keep my Facebook for friends and acquaintances, people that I know. So that's really a personal thing that I do. Mm-hmm. I use Twitter and LinkedIn primarily for business. Twitter, I give a little more warmth and personal tidbits to once in a while than LinkedIn, just because it doesn't have to be quite as dry. But yeah, the tools in something like Hootsuite or TweetDeck where you can post to multiple accounts at once are really handy, because let's face it, you find something cool, you want to post it about business. You don't want to have to log into LinkedIn and then log into Twitter and then, you know, create separate posts and post them separately. You can just go into one tool like the Hootsuite or the TweetDeck and just pick your profiles and, you know, send it out to all the ones you want to at a time.
Yeah, and that's what I like too about TweetDeck in particular, is that it's really great about aggregating all the events and notifications that you get to your own profiles. So, like if anybody follows you or mentions you or replies to you, TweetDeck is really great about putting it all in one column, so it's really easy to find. Where I find like Hootsuite is kind of hard because it breaks everything's separate in Hootsuite. So it's kind of things are kind of like all over the place. And then like when I'm listening, and reading my social media feeds, I also like TweetDeck because it aggregates everything. At least for it only does Facebook and Twitter, but it aggregates them in one column, so you can quickly scan everything going on in one column. Whereas Hootsuite, you'd have to break it out into your separate. You'd have to look at your separate Facebook feed and your separate Twitter feed, which is kind of a hassle.
Right.
And I think it kind of blows some time. So that's what I kind of like about TweetDeck. And TweetDeck has some really great filtering features, because there's a particular person that we follow that sends out a lot of news feed items from various news organizations, and
he's practically his own syndication.
His own syndication feed, right? So TweetDeck allows you to filter tweets out of your feed. So, for instance, people that send out a lot of news links, usually they say via in them. So if you just put in the keyword via in the TweetDeck filter, you'll get rid of all of those. So it's kind of a handy tip, and I've been using that, and it's really been really helpful. And you could also set up like sort of listening or search feeds with both Hootsuite and TweetDeck, so that you can follow things. Like I kind of like to follow like what's going on in the blogging space, so I'll do a keyword search for blogging and podcasting and things like that. And Hal, do you have any of those searches set up?
I don't have them set up right now. I had a lot of stuff set up with TweetDeck when I used it previously, and I went away for a while, and I transitioned to Hootsuite. I haven't gone back yet, and haven't set anything like that up for Hootsuite. But I do remember when I was using them, they were incredibly useful. You know, you can, if you're looking for, let's say if I was looking for a job, I could set Houston and copywriter as search terms and get every Houston copywriter post that comes up.
Right.
You know, and that's incredibly useful for tracking that kind of information.
Yeah, it's great for job seeking. Yeah.
Yeah. Or like you said, if there's stuff in the news you want to follow, a particular event or hashtag, it can be a lot easier.
Right.
So I think those are incredibly useful features, even though I'm not using them right at the moment.
Mm-hmm. So Hal, we were talking earlier about which one is better, TweetDeck or Hootsuite, and do you have a favorite one?
Well, based on some of the new features, it sounds like TweetDeck has come out with since I used it last. It sounds like it might have an edge for me personally, based on the way I use it. But really, it just comes down to how you want to use it. You know, try them both out, check them out. Try and investigate what tools they have, and just understand how you want to use those tools, and you'll be able to make the best decision for yourself.
Right. And I use both of them, and like I said, I just started using TweetDeck again after not using it for a couple of years, and I just find some of the filtering tools to be better. But I think longer term, I think Hootsuite's going to be the better tool for most people, because it's a little more open. People can develop apps for it, so you can feed in some RSS feeds into it, and they have all these apps like for Instagram, so if you want to get your Instagram feed in there, whereas TweetDeck is really just Facebook and Twitter, but I think it does a better job with those two. So anyway, try them out, and if you have any questions, you can hit me up on the blog, kenmarrico.com/blog, or you can contact Mr. Hal Werner. Hal, how can people reach you?
Well, you can reach me on Twitter at Hal Werner. That's HALWERNER. It's probably the easiest way to get it.
All right, and I'm also on Twitter at Ken Marrico. All right, take care.